Hi guys! Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm very excited, guys. Today I'm double excited. Can you tell why? Can you guys tell what is written on my t-shirt? This is what is really making me happy. It says, you cannot buy happiness, but you can buy books. And that's kind of the same thing. And then it has different colors of really cute books underneath. I love it so much. Guys, welcome. On today's episode, we're going to be reviewing a book titled Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson. I know that's the same impression and attitude that I had towards the book as soon as I read the title. Very controversial. Now, this book, the title of this book is what motivated me to read it. And I also told most of my friends to read it because I just wanted them to understand, and feel what I felt when I first of all saw the title. Now, when I first saw this book, I was curious. Why would Thomas Erikson describe human beings that he's surrounded by as idiots or foolish or stupid? Why? And that was what made me really curious to delve deep and see why. Now, this book is such an in-depth discovery into human behavior. This book helps us appreciate the dynamism in human behaviors. Also helps us appreciate the differences and the value that these different human behaviors bring to the table. And it will help you to appreciate the differences that exist in our behaviors. Right. So I consider Thomas Erikson a very interesting writer, an intelligent writer. From the book, you see that he's somebody that is very passionate about human behavior, right? And he did justice to this, and I actually loved it. Through the course of reading this book, I was just nodding in agreement. So like I said earlier, this book is not saying that we should go around and start calling people idiots. Never. Although sometimes we have been in situations where we have seen or watched someone behave in a way that is completely different from how we would behave or respond in a situation. And sometimes we've tended to call those people idiots or stupid or dumb or not smart enough. But this book would help you to understand that human beings, to a large extent, we tend to pay too much attention to the faults and shortcomings of others. This book will help you understand that you have to see value in people's behavior. And because people are different from you, does not mean that they're idiots or not smart enough or good enough. Hey, let's go. Now, in this book, Thomas Erikson categorized the different types of human behavior into 4 colors. 4 bright, beautiful colors. So we have red, we have yellow, we have green, and then we have blue. Guys, please, I need to drink water. Thank you. My mouth was already too dry. So there's red behavior, there's yellow, there's green, and then there's blue. Alright guys, so let's start with the first behavior, red. Nowadays we'll call a red person bold, ambitious, driven, resolute, independent, time conscious, competitive, persuasive, strong-willed. And to a large extent, that is not far from the truth. Red people are people that are very demanding, and to a large extent, they like to dominate and like to feel in charge. Have you ever met a red in your life? A red boss would be that boss that issues out orders without getting opinions of his subordinates. If you have a friend that is a red, that person is very authoritative. That person likes to come up with new ideas and make sure that his ideas or her ideas are enforced. A red person is very confident, and to a large extent, people that are red go on to thrive in their careers because they're not led by their emotions or feelings. Instead, they're led by facts, and they always show themselves. They always want to be giving work. They always want to be giving things that are consuming. These people are decisive. These people do not fall back. This is what characterizes red. This is actually what characterizes red behavior. The second behavior is, can you guys guess? Yellow. So a yellow person is someone that is optimistic, cheerful, someone that is enthusiastic, charming, outgoing, open, creative, someone that's spontaneous, someone that's convincing, easygoing, someone that is communicative, someone that enjoys building relationships. And all the while that I was reading the behavior of the yellow, I could not think of any other person than myself. I'm such a typical yellow person, right? Yellow people are people that are usually open to making friends. Yellow people are people that they have too many people around them. They're people that are very tactile. They get too touchy when talking to people. They're people that like people coming close. They don't like too much distance. They're people that are very outgoing, the loudest and craziest in the room. That is a yellow person. That is a yellow behavior, right? These kind of people are very spontaneous. Most times they don't really follow a particular methodical approach. They just live with the flow. They are ruled by their emotions or gut feelings. Those are very people that see life as a jolly ride. They see life as very interesting, no troubles. Even if they have troubles or struggles in life, they always look at the brighter side of life because they're just naturally cheerful and optimistic. And other behaviors tend to ask, where do these people get all this kind of energy from? Or don't this particular red, don't this particular yellow ever get tired? So this is actually who a yellow person is. Do you have somebody that is a typical yellow in your life? Alright guys, so the third behavior is green. Now, in my opinion, and from what I got from the book, greens are people that they just have the kindest and nicest of hearts. They're friendly, they're calm, they're reliable, they're considerate. Green people are patient. Green people are stable. They're team players. They don't like to lead. They like to follow. They don't really take initiative. They like to be given instructions. They're thoughtful. They're good listeners. They're discreet. Green people are people that you refer to as angels because they're just so sweet. To a large extent, they can never do wrong in your eyes because these people they thrive in making other people happy. They thrive in making others happy. And when I was reading this particular characteristics peculiar to green, the first person I thought of was my best friend Bosse. Bosse is a typical green. She's just very sweet. I also thought of my colleague Eniola. These are people that walk into a room and you just want to do things for them because they're sweet to you. These are who greens are. So they're relaxed and they often like people coming close because they think about others first. They always maintain friendly eye contact. And for these greens, the most important things to them is how they make other people feel. Do you have a green in your life? Do you have an angel like that in your life? So just like yellows, greens are relationship people, and their interest is in genuine and authentic friendships. I just love greens. They're the people that bring calm and order to chaos. They're the people that are sane to a large extent, like 100% extra sane. They don't have problem, they don't have wahala. You just love them, right? This does not mean that they don't have flaws or shortcomings, but they're just really, really good-natured, naturally good-natured people. All right, so let's go to the final color, blue. Now, blue people are people that see themselves as accurate, cautious, correct, super quiet people, logical. They're methodical people. They're orderly. They're quality oriented. Blue people are reflective. They don't like to take risks. They're very systematic. They're very thorough. They're very unassuming. Blue people are not very interested in making or building relationships. And they don't even hide it. A blue person is somebody that is very analytical. The first category of people that comes to my mind are maybe software engineers, right? Blue people are people that even if they've done something very laudable or fantastic, they don't like to be called up to a podium, so that everybody would see them. They're very conservative people. They're people that think a lot. People that are very, very calm. They don't speak until they're spoken to or they're asked for opinions. They're people that think a lot. They're like the brain box in any company or any social circle. Those are blue. Do you have a blue in your life? And how often have you really tapped into the resource that these blue people actually have in them? So that's it, guys. We have red, yellow, green, and blue. 4 types of human behavior categorized according to these colors? Don't you just absolutely love it? Now, I think it's important that I tell you about how Thomas Erickson explains how these 4 colors can actually make first impressions. Now, first of all, the red people just let out how they feel. They don't take too much effort into proving that they like you or that they don't. They just get the job done. Your first impression about a red will be somebody that just lets out whatever he feels. For a yellow, your first impression about a yellow will be somebody that talks a lot. And to a large extent, the yellow can exaggerate minute or little details. A yellow also reveals his or her darkest secret and assumes that everybody is interested. So the first impression that you have of a yellow is a chatterbox. Someone just likes to be everywhere and someone just likes to be noticed. Right. The first impression that you have of a green person is somebody that is very personal and can only function 100% in a very personal and small circle. A blue person feels very, very comfortable with his or her closely knitted group. Right. And then a blue doesn't need small talk, and blue people do not hide the fact that they don't care about how you think about them. So you have to understand that people act differently in different situations based on their natural behaviors. Be reminded. Now, according to Thomas Erickson, how do we adapt to these behaviors? How can you get along with a red or a yellow or a green or a blue? In your mind, you might be saying, why do I need to get along? Or why do I need to pretend to be a blue or a red? Because I want to have a relationship, or because I want to build a relationship with a red or yellow, or because I want to get along with somebody at work. Now, it's not all about faking your behavior, but it's all about adapting to people in different scenarios and situations. I'm going to give a simple example. I know that, I'm going to use a simple example to buttress this fact. In organizations, we know that the world of work is very volatile, it's very uncertain, it's very complex, very ambiguous. And day in, day out, you tend to work with people either remotely or off-site. You have to be able to build a thriving relationship with people that you work with. Bear in mind that we work with people that have different human behaviors or tendencies. So you have to be able to adjust and adapt and be flexible. You have to be flexible in this very, very volatile and uncertain and constantly changing work environments and even personal environments. So you have to be able to modify your behavior or adapt to people's behaviors so that there's no chaos, so there is no conflict, and just so that you can build something healthy and long lasting. So how do you adapt to a red? Now, if you want to have a red's full attention, you have to cut the small talk. You have to go straight to the point. The red people don't like to waste time. If they don't have time for chit chats. They don't have time for personal exchange of information. They just want you to get the job done, and they're just very focused on direct answers. Red people are very, very fast. Same with yellow. They're very, very fast. They don't like to waste time. If you're talking with them, go straight to the point. They don't have time for minute, irrelevant details. So that's one thing that you should learn about the red people. It makes them flip out when you start talking too much. For a red, speed will always be equated with efficiency. Whatever thing that you need to talk about or do, please get it done fast so they can jump on the next big thing. That's one way they can adapt to a red. People that have some level of domineering personality. Now the yellow, how can you adapt to yellow's behavior, to yellow's personality? How can you make it work if you have a different personality? Now, you have to understand that a yellow functions best when he's happy and content. A yellow has so much positive energy, and a yellow strives to create a warm and friendly atmosphere around him. So if you're with a yellow, you have to understand that this yellow likes to smile a lot, likes to have fun, and likes to laugh. Right? You have to understand that this yellow likes to crack jokes, and you have to laugh along. And if you do that, this yellow person will feel better about you and will be able to listen to you, which is always a good thing. So unlike the reds, remember I said that red people like to stick to the points. They don't like to talk too much. They equate speed with efficiency. For a yellow, they like to build nurturing relationships with you. So if they can joke with you, if you can laugh with them, then to a large extent, they'll feel better about you and open up to you. That's how you thrive with a yellow. Now, how do you adapt to a green's behavior? How do you make sure that your relationship with a green thrives? First of all, you have to understand that greens appreciate their periods of peace, of quiet. That's how they recalibrate and come out faster or better. You have to appreciate that a green needs his alone time. So if you're friends with a green and then a green needs space, you have to give it to that green, and don't push too much, because that's how a green functions. After the green has gone to a small corner to recalibrate, then the green can come out, and be the kind of friend or colleague that you want that green to be. You have to also understand that these greens need to be allowed to do nothing, because that's how they thrive. You also have to understand that these greens like to be led. Sometimes greens are not naturally are not people that take initiative. They like to be led. So you have to be able to understand this greens behavioral disposition and tailor your actions or attitudes when you're in the same space with them. Now finally, we have the blue. How do you adapt to a blue? Now you have to understand first of all that blues are very detail oriented. If you give them work to do, they need to have all of the details from A to Z, nothing missing, nothing broken. A blue person is very methodical in his or her approach. A blue person, if that blue person does not have all the facts that he or she needs, the person cannot function. Right? So you have to respond or behave to a blue on a level of high intelligence. If you're talking to a blue, you have to come from a factual perspective. Make sure that your relationship with the blue is very yielding and rewarding in terms of intellectual capacity or ability to really, really think outside the box, and also provide facts with whatever things you're just saying. Now you have to understand that no one person is a total red or a total yellow or green or blue. To a large extent, as human beings, we're all a combination of at least two colors. Take for me personally, I'm a combination of both yellow and red. But that's who I am. You have to delve deep. I think that I really, really advise you guys to get this book, Surrounded by Idiots by Thomas Erikson. You guys would, as you read through traits that perfectly describe you, you will smile. There's some times that you will not agree with a particular fact. However, I'm sure that you will see yourself rooted in about one or two or more of these colors or behavioral or human behavioral tendencies. I need you guys to read this book. It's deep. There's a lot and it's interesting. The different examples that would help you relate with colors that are significantly different from who you are. I need to state it there that for a group to thrive, a perfect group must consist of people with these different colors. And that's the best way to create the best possible dynamic. In a perfect world, we would have an equal number of each colors, but we do not have. So we need to learn to work with people whose behaviors are significantly different from ours and appreciate the diversity and the dynamic in these behaviors. I know that sometimes slow people tire me out. I get very frustrated sometimes, but I'm learning to appreciate the differences in people and see those differences as strengths and not weaknesses. I hope that you guys can leave in the chat box what particular colors or behavioral combination of colors that you are, so that we can talk about it. Do not forget that this is Bumi's Circle, and I look forward to another episode. Till we see you again, guys. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe. Mwah.